everybody. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at our watermelons. We're going to be talking about the weather that we had this spring, what took place, and what happened to our watermelons. And we're also going to be talking about a mistake that we made when we planted some other things in the garden that we'll not make again. We'll not make that mistake again because it cost us some watermelons. So hang around to the end and we'll talk about what took place. We hope you enjoy watching. Okay, so behind me here we have our watermelon patch. And we'll start with the beginning when we planted them this spring. We planted these watermelons on April the 18th. And it was a warm, sunny day. It was nice. And then the next day, as the cold front come through, and it turned cold. And best I remember, it was about 38, 39 degrees, and it stayed cold for several weeks. And started raining, and it rained and rained and rained. But to make a long story short, these watermelons, they took them a little while to come up because of the cold weather. And then when they came up and started growing a little bit, just so much rain and cold weather, it killed part of them. And I had to replant part of them, but part of them, they didn't die and didn't have to replant, but they just, cold weather stunted them. They just slow about growing. And so my watermelons, they're about a month behind what they normally should be. They're just late. You know, my garden here, it's pretty flat and it holds water real good. And I'm usually have to be late with everything in the garden because it just won't dry out. But we'll show you what we got here. So here's my watermelon patch right here. And we'll start with these right here on the end. And these watermelons are yellow watermelons. They came from Brenham, Texas. If you haven't checked out the K and Mac Project 69, go over there and give the sock monkey some support. He would really appreciate it. But these watermelons, the sock monkey sent me from Brenham, Texas, and that's the ones that I planted and didn't have to replant. They didn't die. They made it pretty good. As you can see, how far that they've spread out all the way to the corn over there, and they've spread out all the way to the fence right here, growed through the fence. There's one right there. We have several of those. They're still growing, but it turned off hot and dry right now, and I've been having to water them every day. And they're starting to die back and thin out a little bit. They're still growing. They ain't done yet. We got several of them there. And these are a little bit bigger than a football so far. And I got a row of sweet taters right here in the midst of this jungle. That's the first. That's the first of watermelons right there. I'll just call them the yellow sock monkey melons. And the next hill over here, we planted another hill of yellow watermelons, a different kind. Try not to step on my vines. But right there's one, and they're more of just a round melon. They don't have any stripes, but they're yellow on the inside just as well. Let's see here. I gotta watch where I'm stepping. Right here's the biggest sock monkey melon right here. I got big hands. Just guessing it's over a foot long, and it probably weighs between 10 and 15 pounds. It's the biggest one out of the whole bunch. But here's the other yellow ones, these green ones. We've had trouble with pests in the garden too. For example, here's a yellow watermelon right here. The chicken pecked. And it pecked, it went about the size of a golf ball. And I thought, well, for sure it's going to fall off, rot and fall off, but it didn't. It healed over. And it's still growing. These watermelons they're still growing. They're still blooming. The next watermelons, let's see here. I got spots of them. Oh yeah, here we go. These are crimson sweet watermelons right here. They are red on the inside, and they're a round watermelon. Just they're not oblong. They're just round. That there is about the size of a basketball. I'll tell you about these seeds right here. I bought this pack of seeds. Let's see. When my daughter was about 5 or 6 years old, and I planted them and had some of the best watermelons I ever had, and growed some big ones. Actually, I growed one of these that weighed 35 pounds. But these seeds, I bought them when she was about 5 or 6 years old, and she's 28 now. My baby's growed up on me, but and you might ask and wonder, well, how in the world did you save these watermelon seeds that long and they still be good and come up? And it's a pretty simple trick. Just keep your seeds in the deep freezer. When you get them out, plant what you're going to plant and put them right back in the freezer. And they will last for, for years. They won't go bad and they'll come up. I'm not sure exactly how long they will last in the freezer, but they'll last a long time. So, let's see. You see the rest of our garden, it's looking pretty pitiful. Everything's dried up. Got all the corn pulled off. Put up 8 dozen years of corn. We canned the beans and we've canned tomatoes. All kinds of pepper. But right in here is some of my grandpa's watermelons that I planted, and that's some I had to replant. They just didn't do any good. I had one pretty big one, and the chickens pecked it off. Here's a little tiny watermelon. So these right here, they're not going to have anything. They won't have time. Even though I have small ones on there, they're not going to have time to make. The next watermelons we have over here are Florida Giant. And they're green. They look just like the yellow ones over there. I have two of them, and I had to replant these two. They just didn't do good at all. And that's coming to the mistake that I made. And we'll talk about that next. Okay, so the mistake that I made with my watermelons, I should have known better. I didn't know it would be this bad. I knew that they would grow and spread out a lot, but I didn't know they'd be this bad. But we'll show you what we've done. Okay, so here's what took place. It's all because of this plant right here. This plant, I mowed part of it down. It was 4 or 5 feet longer over in my goat pen. But it spreads from right here all the way across the garden, all the way through the garden, all the way to the other side and out the other side. And what this is a pumpkin. And that was the mistake I made. Do not plant pumpkins in the garden close to watermelons, because they just ran and overtook it and they smothered the watermelons out. It happened on this end right here. Just smothered them plumb out, and they don't have very many pumpkins to show for it. They've got some little small ones. Right here's a little small one. There's a few small ones scattered in there, back through there. But don't never ever plant pumpkins with your watermelons, because they'll smother everything out. And You won't have a good crop of either one. There's just too much competition going on there. I was hoping to, what I had on my mind when I planted these right here, I thought, well, I got 4 grandbabies, and I thought, well, they'd like to have a pumpkin. So I planted them over there. You can see they just took over. They have lots of blooms. So we ain't going to have very many watermelons this year. Have a lot of pest problems. Right here's one of them. Right there. They'll eat your pumpkins, they'll eat your watermelons, they'll eat your squash, they'll eat cucumbers. What I can find out about that, that is a lady beetle. Not a ladybug, but a lady beetle. They eat your plants up. They're not hard to catch. So there's what's going on with my watermelons. We'll have a few watermelons. I know everybody that's growed these watermelons that Sock Monkey sent out. He sent them out to about 10 different states, I think, 10 different places. And y'all fellas out in Texas, I know your watermelons are a good month and a half ahead of mine. Cause it gets warm in a hurry out there in Texas. I know y'all done probably pulled all your watermelons off, but that's why I haven't had an update, because mine are just so far behind everybody else. The best ones we got are going to be yellow, 2 different kinds of yellow. It's going to be a little while before they ripe yet, but like I said, it's hot and dry here now, and I'm having to water them every day. Carry water in a bucket and pour it on the hill. Soak them down good, and that's all you can do. Maybe we'll get some rain before long. So here's the biggest one we wound up with, and it ain't ripe yet. It'll be a little while before it's ripe. And we got several of them. Got several. These yellow ones here. One way over there on the squash was. But there's a lot of little ones scattered out through here. Got to be careful walking, not step on the vines. Okay, so there you have it. There is our 2026 watermelon season update. Got a few growing. Not a whole lot, but we do have a few. There we go. Now you can see it back there. We hope you enjoyed watching, and we'll try to have another video when it's time to harvest these watermelons. And anyways, we hope you enjoyed watching. If you haven't subscribed, maybe consider subscribing to our channel. Give us a thumbs up, and we hope you have a blessed day, and we want to thank you for watching. And I'm just going to say that's a Mr. Sock Monkey watermelon right there. Lots of pretty garden. Hello everybody. In today's video we're going to be talking about our watermelons. Our yellow watermelons, and we got all kinds of watermelons. We're going to be talking about turkeys,